And now it's time to unveil the Charch Fantasy Minute. We need a name for the segment.
Wait a minute. Okay. Charch Fantasy. Yeah, we got to come up with something better than that.
Next week, we will have a title, but let's let Charch give you some vital fantasy advice.
Hello, Zonies. I've decided that's the name for the Zone Coverage listeners. You guys need a wacky name, and I've decided it's Zonies. You're Zonies now. Feel free to run with that, by the way. All I require is a dime for every usage. That's my royalty fee. Paul Charchian here, making my Zone Coverage debut. It's very exciting. We're going to bring you Waiver-Wire fantasy coverage. And I'm here to just give you the quick breakdown on what you need to know from a fantasy football waiver wire standpoint. And also to let you know that you can get all of the complete details at fanball.com. In our news section, you can find my waiver wire advice in detail. But the top level stuff you need to know comes here. First, no notable quarterbacks or tight ends really to go after here, unless TJ Hawkinson with his record-setting day is available in your league. And he's actually available in 47% of fantasy league, so he might be. And if he is, and you need a tight end, he's kind of a break-the-bank guy. And it looks like he's going to break the mold for rookie futility among tight ends, which is commonplace even in Hall of Fame tight ends that just don't get rolling in their rookie year. TJ Hawkinson could be the exception to that. Let's go to the other positions, especially running back, where almost everybody's looking for help and depth. And so many guys turned up through week one, and that includes Ronald Jones. Tampa Bay and Bruce Arians had told us that it would be a hot hand situation. The hot hand through week one is Ronald Jones, who was dreadful last year, but looked so much better this time around at 93 total yards for him on just 14 touches. That's a nice average. And while it could reverse itself next week, maybe the hot hand next week's Peyton Barber. For the moment, it's Ronald Jones. He's somebody you'll certainly want to look at, along with Malcolm Brown. And Malcolm Brown's my favorite running back, probably my favorite acquisition of the whole week. We knew Todd Gurley was going to be in a timeshare. We thought it'd be more likely to be Darrell Henderson than Malcolm Brown, but it's Malcolm Brown. And Malcolm Brown not only got half of the total carries, he got the goal line work, and that was really surprising. And maybe that doesn't hold up because Todd Gurley's an elite power runner at the stripe, but Malcolm Brown got paid on both of his goal line carries, so there's no mandate to make a change there. You give me a part-time, a split-time runner in one of the best offenses in the league, I'm interested. Malcolm Brown, somebody you can bid aggressively on, and for those of you with blind bidding. Adrian Peterson's a familiar name to all of you, of course, and he looks like he'll be the starting running back for the Redskins for at least a couple of weeks with Darius Geis down. It's not a guarantee that Darius Geis gets the job back automatically when he comes back. It could be that Peterson shines. He was a 1,000-yard rusher last year. Maybe Peterson ends up holding that. But in the same backfield, you should also be thinking about Chris Thompson, the pass-catching back. He's the safe guy no matter what happens between Geis and Adrian Peterson. They threw to him 10 times last week. Running back Chris Thompson caught 7. This is a nice opportunity for him, 68 yards, and we may see that continue as the Redskins play from behind a lot. A lot of receptions for Chris Thompson potentially coming here. San Francisco's got a timeshare backfield, and it was always going to be a timeshare, but Tevin Coleman's out for a while with a high ankle sprain. That could be a month. And in the meantime, we'll see Matt Breida and Raheem Mostert. Breida's largely rostered. Nobody's rostering Raheem Mostert. And Breida's constantly hurt. He got hurt last week for a while and was out of the game. Mostert's an interesting guy to pick up for that reason. Kyle Shanahan's runners usually end up doing something pretty good. Among receivers, Marquis Brown was on the field for 12 snaps, turned it into 147 yards and a pair of scores. That, my friends, is a mandate for additional playing time. Marquis Brown will get more playing time starting next week. Unfortunately, he can't play Miami every week, which would be great. But we're going to see him get on the field a lot more often, and it's startable beginning really this week as well. He'll be somebody you could aggressively target. John Ross was another receiver who had a eye-popping performance last week, but things are a little murkier here. In the short term, he'll be fine, but long term, 3-4 weeks from now, AJ Green comes back. And now it's a 3-headed wide receiver group, and your trigger man, I don't know. This doesn't feel like such a great opportunity. And while in the short term, John Ross might be better with a new regime, I'm not sure that Andy Dalton's got the ability to support 3 different receivers once AJ Green comes back. Last receiver I'll mention, Cole Hardman. likely ends up taking the routes that Tyreek Hill is going to end up losing. Hill's injury status, this thing could linger into October, and there's going to be a lot of opportunity here. Hardman is super fast, and because stylistically he's more like Tyreek Hill, I think he'll get more of those routes to run. He's super raw, and that could end up being a problem at some point here. I don't know that he's not going to be Tyreek Hill, obviously, but that is still an opportunity for some big plays and some big opportunities, and that's why Mecole Hardman's pretty fascinating. You can get all of the free agent waiver wire guys by going to fanball.com, but maybe more importantly, the free-to-play Zone Coverage fantasy game is available at fanball.com. Go to fanball.com/zone coverage. Your opportunity to win a t-shirt and a Buffalo Wild Wings gift certificate. The game is unique in that it's only Vikings and Packers in week 1. It's only the Viking game. You're going to build a salary cap roster made entirely of players from that game. And so you know and love Vikings. You know and hate the Packers. Here's your opportunity to put some of those Packers to good use and get yourself a t-shirt and a gift certificate out of the deal. If you get especially grimy, tangy, sauce-laden hands, you could wipe them on the t-shirt. Fanball.com/zone coverage.
All right, good stuff from Charch. The inaugural Charch Fantasy Minute or Minutes. Good stuff. What was your favorite of his waiver wire acquisitions?
Well,
I'm most upset about Malcolm Brown because I'm a Henderson guy.
TJ Hawkinson was available in like 47% of leagues.
Right.
Like he said that, and I was like, get out.
Yeah.
Because he's not available in any of my leagues. Otherwise, I would have picked him up.
That's insane.
Yeah. You ready for this?
Yeah.
His first bad beat of the year. 2 days before the season started, Antonio Brown.
Did you drop Malcolm Brown or something like that?
I dropped Marquis Brown for Hunter Renfrow.
So, oh wow, I totally understand. By the way,
Do you
I get it. I've got
Evan Silva was
yeah.
just pumping. My guy Evan. I mean, he's
Everyone's told you Lamar can't throw.
Yeah,
right.
I went.
And by the way, just real
sense.
quick, Brown wasn't even practicing with the first team when I dropped him 3 days, and all of a sudden he goes off.
I went in the other direction, but I was thinking about that exact decision, and I was like,
You were?
Yeah.
Makes me feel bad.
I remember Hunter Renfrow was like, because we were worried about like how his game would translate, and then he's like just like making fun of people at the Senior Bowl.
Oh, dude, it was a joke. Yeah.
And so, I mean, this is kind of why I like Dynasty Leagues, because if I'm right about a player, but I don't get to have him on my team, that's not satisfying at all. But Dynasty Leagues, they tend to be deeper. You've got a rookie-specific draft. Yeah, I've drafted Marquis Brown in almost all of my leagues, and now I feel like I didn't start him, but I feel like a genius,
got him.
right? Yeah.
I mean, he's the top waiver wire in most leagues this week. You know, teams are spending 10, 20, $30 of their free agent money on a guy like that, and I can't blame him because Baltimore looked unstoppable. Like Charch said, you don't get to play Miami every week, but Baltimore to put up 59 burger, I mean, maybe they could be one of these teams that go off this year and be one of those wild card teams.
And
so
what was interesting is that Charch mentioned John Ross was the one who went off, not quite Tyler Boyd, which is I think what everybody expected, right?
Big time.
But yeah, I mean, obviously there's a concern there. You've got to fill in. I've got AJ Green on a couple of my rosters.
Nice, me too. I got one.
So it was very easy for me to roster Tyler Boyd, but then John Ross.
Yeah.
That's an interesting situation.
Here's the thing I've noticed in my leagues. Quarterbacks, and I knew this going in, but quarterbacks are it's even more stacked with better depth than I even thought leaving the draft when I got Tom Brady for $1 with my last pick in a 14-man league. You got Andy Dalton leads the league in rushing. Nobody even looked at him during their fantasy draft. I mean, Kirk Cousins.
Offense.
Yeah, right. Kirk Cousins got dropped this week in one of my leagues, 14-man. I mean, they're everywhere. They're loaded.
Yeah, well, people are either buying low or selling low on Diggs and Thielen because they're like, if they're going to throw 10 passes a game,
dude, that'll all balance out eventually, no doubt about it.
Bad idea. If I've got a choice, though, between Adrian Peterson and Chris Thompson, I'm taking Thompson 11 times out of 10 because Jay Gruden clearly doesn't like Adrian Peterson right now, and Chris Thompson's catching the football.
League, yeah.
He's catching the football. Okay, give me him.
Yeah, right. And I expect Washington to be down more often than they're up. I mean, despite the impressive performance Case Keenum had, I expect them to play catch up, and you want your pass catching back in there.
I like guys that are maybe a little bit more buried on the depth, but are on good explosive offenses. That's why I like his last bit, Mecole Hardman for Tyreek Hill. Who I don't know if it's going to pan out.
I missed out on him in all of my leagues.
Me too. If you get a piece of the KC Chiefs pie, I think McCole Hardman could get a little slice of that. And
I remember back in, what was it, 2013, I had everybody on the Broncos on my team. It was an auction league. Man. So I was like, that guy's undervalued. I'll grab him. And I figured one of them is not going to produce, so I'll just sit whoever it is after week 3, figure out who it is. And I just started. I had Peyton Manning, I had Demaryius Thomas, I had Wes Welker. I had all of them.
Eric Decker?
Yeah. I had Eric Decker. I had all of them.
That's great.
And so I didn't have the tight end, whoever it was.
Owen Daniels?
Thomas?
Julius? 2013, I think it was Orange Julius. Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't have him, but that was just started out with 50 touchdowns.